Hello to the folks that are just tuning in. I'm just waiting for some more people to log in and start from there. Good evening. My name is Chef Inderpal. Give it about 30 more seconds and we'll start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, my name is Chef Inderpal. Today I'm going to be making kheer. Kheer is a traditional dish served in India on all holidays, every tradition, first day of school, marriage, getting married, graduations. I mean, you name a day when there's kheer happening, kheer is being made. There's over probably 100 different variations of kheer being made all throughout India. Kheer can be made from south of India. It can be made basically with semolina flour instead of rice. Thank you. Kheer up to Goa side, it can be made basically with coconut milk or with regular milk, but traditionally coconut milk. Where I'm making it from, it comes from northern India in Punjab, and it's basically made with basically regular basmati rice. But being a chef, I have my own twist and my own variations on kheer. Kheer is something to me, it's kind of like a soup. It's a lot of science and a lot of math that goes into it. You have to understand the flavor profiles of everything that you're adding to your product to result basically in one final achievement of a dish. I'm going to show you guys my mise en place, what I'm doing for my kheer, how I add my twist to it, and the reason why I add what I add to it. So we start off basically with kheer. We're going to basically be using half a cup of unsweetened coconut. That being said, I'm going to preheat my oven to toast my coconut. Toasting it at 350 degrees. No, not condensed milk. This is actually 1 cup of heavy cream to 3 cups of whole milk. 1 cup heavy cream, 3 cups of whole milk. So coconut is what I put inside of it. I use sultana raisins. Sultana raisins basically are like regular raisins. The major difference between sultana raisins and regular raisins is black raisins, they're naturally dehydrated to achieve basically the shriveled look. Sultana raisins are dehydrated inside of a machine. After they're basically dehydrated inside of a machine, then from there, they're basically sprayed with vegetable oil and then re-dehydrated again to achieve the crispiness texture of the skin that's outside, but still maintain a luscious inside where it's soft and basically very flavorful. So sultana raisins, 1/4 cup of sultana raisins. I personally like to use glazed pecans. Glazed pecans to me are a phenomenal dish, a phenomenal nut to use. Glazed pecans are going to add full of butter, which is fat. Fat is an ingredient that we need into this dish to complete, and I'll tell you the reason why. Glazed pecans are also very sweet, and they add a very good texture to basically my dish. Now we're going to the exotic spices. So exotic spices meaning we're going to use cardamom. Cardamom is one of basically the rarest, not rarest, but it's also a very expensive spice along with saffron, vanilla beans, truffles. Cardamom is also along the lines. We're going to break them up instead of a mortar and pestle and extract the seeds out of it. Cardamom is a phenomenal product. It is basically very aromatic. It releases a ton of flavor and a ton of aromatics. What's up, Katisha? How you doing, chef? This is an amazing product. I love to use this. This is completely different than nobody else uses. This is called a cassia cinnamon bark. This is actually a tree bark. It's also an evergreen tree called a Chinese tree. So it's, again, an evergreen tree, but this is called cassia cinnamon, and this is the actual bark that comes from basically the cinnamon tree. fennel pollen. My God, this is an amazing product. If you can see, this is fennel pollen. This is what my product will be finished with, which is fennel pollen. Fennel pollen is basically the wild pollen that comes from Italy, and it basically blows with the wind. When it becomes springtime and you step out your house, you see nothing but yellow everywhere. That's the pollen. So imagine basically wild fennel just releasing that pollen everywhere, but you collecting it. Again, wild fennel is another very, very expensive dish into this product. My favorite thing in the world. Getting into saffrons. All these are different kinds of saffrons. Saffron basically is a flower that comes from a plant called the Crataeus sativus. And the inside of the plant is basically, these are the stigmas. The red threads are called stigmas or threads. That's what we have right here. I have several different kinds of saffrons. Red gold saffron is a traditional saffron that comes from Tuscany, Italy. Tuscany, Italy has red saffron, which is called red gold, because the majority of the leaves that you see inside are gold. This saffron basically has a dish that leaves a nice pale yellow but very aromatics to it. Italians use this a lot on risotto. They have their variation of a rice pudding as well. Different meats, cheeses, a lot of products on this. This saffron, amazing saffron. This is from Kashmir, India, from northern India. This saffron is very short stems, very short threads. This type of saffron is very aromatic, a great saffron as well. Persian saffron. This is one of my favorite saffrons in the world. This saffron has a nice deep hue of purple to bluish color. As you basically open it up, amazing aromatics. This is a saffron that's always used on baklavas, different dishes in Persia, and basically Iranian cookings, Middle Eastern cookings. Very, very popular dish. Saffron that I'm using for my dish is the most traditional saffron in the world. Saffron that comes from Spain. This is the most popular saffron that comes from Spain because this is how all bouillabases are made. All your basically paellas, all this is a base of this saffron. Saffron's right there. Now Kheer always requires you to use basmati rice. Today I'm not using basmati rice. I am using it, but I'm using 3/4 cup of basmati rice and 3/4 cup of arborio rice. I use two different kinds of rices because basmati rice is a nice elongated rice. As it cooks, it'll basically double up in size and become way more longer, which adds a nice texture to it. I like arborio rice because arborio rice is very short, but as it cooks, it becomes very plump and basically very flavorful. That's why all the fat that I was using in here, from basically the glazed pecans to basically the sultana raisins, all the fat will basically blend very well with our arborio rice. Hence why I was using 3 cups of whole milk to 1 cup of heavy cream. Sugar, we're going to start off basically with 1 cup of sugar. So let's get this dish going. As this dish comes put together, all we have to do before I even get this dish together, I'll give you guys some quick facts about saffron. So saffron, like I showed you the picture, saffron is one of the most rarest and the most expensivest herbs or spice in the world. This spice right here, to get 1 tablespoon, you would need to plant 50 to 60 flowers just to get 1 tablespoon. To get 1 pound of saffron, that's 250,000 red threads, or basically stigmas, that you need. That's the size of a football field just to get 1 pound of saffron. It's pretty crazy how much saffron you need. 1 gram is about 460 threads. 1 ounce is about 13,000 threads, if I'm not mistaken. Saffron's an amazing product. I use a little heavy pinch of it, but that's just how I like to cook my saffron. Always bloom your saffron, meaning in order to use saffron, however much you have, add a little hair above it, but basically really hot water. The water is basically going to extract the color out of the saffron. and it'll be a lot easier when you put it in the dish. It won't be so brittle. It'll all be soft and supple, basically, what you want. Immediately, color gets released as hot water is added to it. No secret trick, nothing, just hot water, saffron. It's gonna sit there and get bloomed. While the oven is presetting, we're gonna take our half a cup of coconut, shredded, unsweetened coconut, and we're gonna get it ready to get toasted. The reason I toast my coconut, couple of reasons. Like I was saying in the beginning, making kheer is like a science project. You want to have everything at the end of the result a very binding texture. This is going to get a nice deep brown color. As you toast it, the nuttiness of the coconut will extract a lot more. Set this aside and get this ready. In my mortar and pestle, I'm going to add the cardamom pods. And I'm going to add the glazed pecans. If you could just smell what cardamom does to glazed pecans, it's an amazing smell and amazing product that you can combine with these two different cuisines and just different smells and aromatics. Set that aside. Golden raisins, sultanas, on your rice. Take 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Add that to your milk. Why are we adding it to the milk? Vanilla extract contains alcohol. Alcohol binds well with the fat that's inside of there to basically have the maximum amount of flavor that we need. So now in this pan that we have, you want to use a heavy saucepan. You're going to turn the heat to high. As you turn the heat to high, add your rice and your raisin mix. Add your liquid mix. And you're going to add your bloomed saffron. Water and all, you're going to add everything together. Add 1 cup of sugar. You want to bring this now to a boil, almost a boil, but not too much. I do have a thermometer here. I want to bring it basically to 200 degrees. That's my achievement right now. You're going to let this get to 200 degrees. We're going to lower the heat, put a lid on this, cook it for 45 minutes. Add your glazed pecans, cardamoms. Oven's preheated. We're going to add the coconut inside the oven. We're going to let the coconut basically go in the oven for 7 minutes. After that, we're going to let basically the kheer or the rice pudding that we're making, we're going to let this come to 200 degrees. Once it gets to 200 degrees, we'll basically set the temperature down to a simmer. And then after a simmer, we'll let it cook for 45 minutes, and I'll come back live and I'll show you guys the finished product. Thank you for tuning in, and see you guys in 45 minutes.